Assalamu alaikum guys. Yes, today we have another lecture in linguistics 1. It's for the faculty of education students in the third semester. طبعا هذه مادة linguistics 1 اللي هو علم اللغات أو علم اللسانيات واحد لطلبة السمستر الثالث للغة الإنجليزية. طبعا today we will talk about phonology as the base of linguistics كقاعدة linguistics. طبعا we have taken that the 5 subfields there are 5 subfields of linguistics. هناك 5 subfields of linguistics. طبعا لما تجي تقرا اللغة تبي تقرا الأصوات نتاعها. طبعا في الأصوات نعطوهم رموز هنا والاسم الأكاديمي نتاعها الفونيمز. هذين الفونيمز الأصوات يديروا بشنو بحاجة اسمها sound syllables، هن مقاطع صوتية يديروا made up sound syllables اللي يصنع في مقاطع صوتية. كل مقطع صوتي فيه فاول ضروري طبعا as a nucleus كنواة له. مرات فيه ايش؟ مرات فيه consonants قبل الفاول تلقى onset، بعد الفاول تلقى كودا. والسيلابل هذا يديروا made up بعد ايش؟ words. خلاص الوردز اللي عندنا هيتشور شنو؟ اللي هو the second subfield of linguistics which is the morphology. تندوا عليه في المحاضرة بس نحكي عن phonology. Okay, phonology as we said earlier, phonology studies what? Studies the sounds in a specific language. يعني تدرس الأصوات في لغة معينة. The sounds of that language. طبعا في the spoken language وفي the spoken written. طبعا we will make the English as an example. Okay. طبعا phonology studies sounds. طبعا هنا في sounds عندنا هنا phonemes we have taken it in phonetics 1. طبعا خلينا نتكلم في phonetics 1. Okay. They are very important, you know, you guys. طبعا الفونيمز اللي خليناها اللي هنا الأصوات yes. عندنا I for example are all sounds اللي هو vowels with consonants وإلى غير ذلك. هذين خليناهم في الفونetics. Okay. And the phonetics studies speech sounds as a phonology in a specific language. So in phonology actually it studies has something called allophones. allophones طبعا في language. For example الإنجليزية مثلا for example عندنا مثلا me وعندنا moon. okay. وعندنا must. شوف هنا ما بعرفنا طبعا هذينا one phoneme اللي هو phoneme sounds. بس أنا different allophones me, moo and ma must. واحد verbalized واحد liberalized واحد شنو volatilized. طبعا هذا موضوع آخر volatilized. لكن شنو هذين الثلاثة نظرا للphonetic environment، نظرا للبيئة الصوتية phonetic environment they made up allophones, something called allophones. هنوضحها هنا allophones. شوف allophones. طبعا نحن allophones بالبراكتس هيك هذا الفون هذا الفون بالبراكتس نديروا شنو؟ نعرفوا ان هذا allophone. 3 allophones for the same phoneme. 3 allophones يا guys. ها شو تنسوش allophones for the same phoneme. لأن لما يضرب شنو الألوفونز هنا الفونيم in different phonetic environments. It is allophones. What's allophones? Is a phoneme in different phonetic environment. هو عبارة عن فونيم صوت في بيئة صوتية مختلفة. Okay? يعني sometimes I speak in Arabic just to clarify things, you guys, for you. So allophones هنا هو عبارة عن فونيم in a different phonetic environment. قلت كم مرة it's easy كexample. مثلا يا شيء الألوفون د طبعا احنا بالسلاشز allophones بالسلاشز يا guys. ها نجيب مثلا نجيب different allophones ده مثلا do loud هنا تمام. عندنا مثلا for example مثلا done مثلا do done هذا خلاص الفون for the same phoneme اللي هو ده. This is allophone is a phoneme in a different phonetic environment. يعني ال phonetic environment يعني makes up different allophones for the one phoneme. Okay, let me search about my yes. This is it, yeah, guys. Now the phone is very easy, yeah. You can write it down, okay? You can write it down. You will the phones, you will phoneme in different phonetic environment. And something called minimal birds has been organized and made up by American linguists in two different words. And in for example, minimal birds. Minimal birds. Birds are two words as birds. مثلا for example, yes. For example, what is? Two words. For example, moon and noon. For example, what's the difference between moon and noon? Noon and a huge difference. Another one. شوف, this sound and this sound. They are in the same position. في نفس المكان. Initial في initial words. صح؟ هذه واحدة. They are in the same position in the two words. هذه أهم حاجة. Okay? So, and they have these 1, 2, 3. Sorry, أنا بنتعامل عليش بالأصوات for example. أنا مش بالletters, okay? Moon, ooh, and n. وأنا noon, ooh, and n. 1, 2, and 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The same sounds, but they differ only in one sound, but in the same position. It must be in the same position. You choose whether initially or middlely or finally. For example, middlely مثلا حتى عندك في an example in the vowel, for example, let and let. How many sounds here? Let and let. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But the in the middle, e and e. Let and let. So there are minimal birds. What's the meaning? What is the minimal birds? Minimal birds are two words have the same number of sounds, differ only in one sound. It must be differ in only one sound, but in the same position. يعني هنا الشروط انتهت. Two words have the same number of sounds, differ only in one sound, in the same position. يعني only one sound بس في شرط آخر in the same position. هو في نفس الموقع. يعني minimal birds again. Any two words have the same number of sounds, differ only in one sound, in the same position. So let and let. For example, you can do the other one, which is in the final. For example, yes, we will. Lift. I don't know. You can choose the other one. But then, for example, I'm thinking about two words have the same number of sounds but defining their final position. For example, for example, move and mood. For example, we has nothing to do, or we have nothing to do with the letters of the sounds. Move and mood. Move and mood. هي mood فيها تقول mood. For example, we consider it and a different way in the final. They made minimal births to clarify phonemes more and more. هذه هي minimal births يعني. طبعا عندنا هذا توقيع الميم تاعها تعريف أو definition of minimal birth. Any two words have the same number of sounds in the same position. عندنا again something called طبعا هناخذ هنا allophone. allophone هنا. We have في حاجة اسمها complementary distribution. Complementary distribution. What's the meaning of complementary distribution? It means that the phoneme cannot stay in specific position. For example, this phoneme in English cannot be in initial. No way. So it is in complementary distribution. It has different positions. It can be in bottom, but there are specific positions cannot be put in. For example, you cannot find this in the initial or in the beginning of a word. No way. It means that it has a complementary distribution. Specific places to stay in English, for example. Yes. So allophones, minimal births, and complementary distribution. Allophones in phonemes in different phonetic environment, and we have taken the examples of it. And minimal births is that the two words have the same number of sounds, differ only in one sound in the same position. And then the other thing is the complementary distribution, which is the positions, or specific positions for the phoneme to be saying. And there are different phonemes in English. You can find it. It can never be in a positions. For example, it cannot be in first, for example. So thank you guys for listening.